Terror, folks. Terror in the shadow of Gracie Mansion. That's the topic for today's short. Hey. Welcome back to Real Talk with Mochio. I'm your host, Gordon A. Mochio, the G-Man, they call me. Folks, we had a very disturbing incident here, or in New York City the other day. On March 6th, 2026, two alleged terrorists threw an improvised explosive device, also known as IED, into a crowd of protesters near Gracie Mansion, the official residence of the mayor of New York City. Now, folks, this wasn't some ad hoc device or firecracker. According to reports, the device was packed with bolts, nuts, washers, and other shrapnel, the kind of material specifically designed to maximize injuries when the device is detonated. And as an aside, terrorist organizations use this MO. Why? Well, their main goal is not to inflict death, although death is a welcome byproduct. Their main goal is to inflict pain, chaos. They love the picture of people walking around maimed, bleeding, confusion, all for the visual impact. That's why they call them terrorists. Now, these two mutts, and I'll call them mutts, who built this device and attempted to detonate it, they obviously had some type of training. Okay, you don't put something like this together on a wing and a prayer. And folks, here's the part that should get everyone's attention: the explosive compound used in that device was reportedly as TATP, triacetone triperoxide. For those of you who don't know, TATP is extremely unstable explosive. It's been used in numerous terrorist attacks around the world because it can be made from common chemicals. And it's also able to be or defeat certain scanners. And I'm not going to get into that, give these mutts a heads up. But it's also, it's so volatile that it can detonate from heat, friction, or even any slight movement. In other words, this wasn't a prank. This had the potential to become a mass casualty incident. Now, let's give credit where credit is due. NYPD officers ran to the scene, ran toward the burning device, and moved quickly to contain the situation and apprehend the suspects. That takes courage, folks. Real courage. Not social worker courage. But then came the press conference. And this is where things get interesting. At onset, Swami Mamdani immediately made race the centerpiece of the discussion. Right out of the box, this bozo states, or starts talking about anti-Muslim hatred and attacks against Muslims. Now, hold on for a second. Authorities themselves describe the suspects as alleged terrorists, and if the reports are accurate that these individuals had ISIS-related sympathies, why would they be targeting Muslims? They don't exactly have a track record of targeting Muslims because they're part of the same brotherhood, same religion. So, which is it? Either Mamdani doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, or he's trying to divert the narrative. Remember what I said, folks? Socialists, left-wing extremists, they are masters at deception. So let's divert the narrative, because the average Joe, the average citizen, really doesn't understand ISIS and Muslims and yada, yada, yada. So I'll just say this was violence against Muslims to create a spark, create a diversion. The left loves to control the conversation by changing the subject. They put their hands over their eyes because they refuse to accept that this is the sad, sad state of affairs right now in New York City under this mayor. But the moment that really made me fall off my chair, folks, was when Mamdani went on to praise the NYPD officers who captured the suspects, ran towards that explosive device. Now, folks, that's interesting. Because if I remember correctly, the same political crowd was recently calling police officers Nazis, calling them oppressors, calling them systematically racist. So suddenly, now they're heroes. What changed? Well, I'll tell you what changed, folks. This happened near the Swami's home. And the Swami finally realized that, hey, they could be after my family and I. Well, that changes things, doesn't it, folks? And it raises another question. If Swami Mamdani and his allies believe so strongly in replacing police with social workers, why weren't social workers standing by, ready to respond to show police how it's done? Maybe, just maybe, this incident served as a reminder of something very simple. When things get dangerous, when lives are on the line, you don't call a counselor, you call the police. And the officers of the New York City Police Department did exactly what they're trained to do. God bless them. God guide them. They ran toward the danger. God bless each and every one of them. And that, folks, is a Real Talk with Mochio short. Let me know how you feel if you're so inclined. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. And as always, folks, the views, opinions, and statements expressed on Real Talk with Mochio are those of the host and guests of the podcast and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or official positions of Gordon Vincent Associates, LLC, DBA, Mochio Media, or any of its subsidiaries, affiliates, or employees. I'm Gordon A. Mochio, the G-Man. Stay safe, stay sharp, and I'll see you next time. And as always, may the blessings of heaven rest upon you and yours. Until next time, my friends. Adios.